Blessing Sacred Space community. Thank you for tuning in to another Sacred Morning Glow Up. If you haven't subscribed to my website, please do so. Click the link in my bio. You're going to get a free copy of Manifest Your Magic. Congratulations again to Tanasia Davis. She was the winner of the 30-minute distant Reiki session. So let's make sure you respond to my email. I set you up a couple of days ago. Also, I have a couple of more sessions left. It's a 4-week session, 1.5 hours per session, you guys. We're going to do a self-care plan. We're going to identify core beliefs that are preventing you from really walking in purpose. We are going to identify why is it so hard for you to take care of yourself. We're going to do some mindfulness meditation. We are going to learn how to shift our own frequency. We are going to learn how to master our emotions. We are going to open the door to true healing and really some accountability and responsibility. So click the link in my bio. It's $100 off the session. So basically you're going to get a session for free with the promo code SISTAR, SISTAR 19. I'm looking forward to holding space for you guys. Tune in tonight at 6 p.m. on the Sacred Space podcast, Spotify, Apple, and Google Play. Our special guest is going to be Octavia Harris. I've been working with Sis for a long time online. And so I finally get the chance to interview her, the goal-digging goddess. So we're going to talk about setting some goals in our life, self-care being one of them. You know, setting your self-care goals and learning how to make yourself a priority, putting yourself on your to-do list. Because if you aren't on your to-do list, what are you really doing, right? So this morning, I want to talk about identifying the messages that you received as a child and how they impact your relationships. How was the relationship between your mom and your dad before they got with you? What was the relationship like for your parents' parents? And how that energy, that thought process, that belief system passes itself down to you. That energy is then transitioned from the womb, and you then begin to live your life not understanding why you make decisions, why you think the way you think, why you feel how you feel, why your definition of love is skewed, why you have a lot of relationships that mimic your parents' relationship. You may not know everything about your parents' relationship, but, you know, talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents so that you can start understanding the pathology of your family, the mindset of your family, and where these beliefs come from. We tend to recycle beliefs, thoughts, patterns, relationships, and we don't recognize it a lot of times because we're on autopilot. You know, you get up every day, you do the same thing, you enter into the same relationships year after year after year after year, whether it be friends, family, mates, co-workers. You have these same ass relationships, but you haven't taken the time out to say, why do I keep going through the same shit? You know, and why am I expecting anything to change and I haven't changed? It's like you go through the breakup of a relationship and then you keep saying, you know, I'm waiting on love. Well, what are you doing to prepare yourself for love? Are you redefining what it means to be loved? Are you looking at your parents' relationship and getting honest about their love or lack thereof? What was your mother's relationship with your father during her pregnancy? I know for me, it's a lot of abandonment. It's a lot of neglect. It's a lot of abuse, verbal, mental, emotional, and especially physical abuse. And so recognizing how that impacts you, you know, recognizing how much trauma you experienced in your mother's womb. And then how was the relationship between your parents as they were raising you as a small child? These things impact you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, physically, and energetically. Our body holds on to these memories. And although it's very hard for us to remember when we were 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, our body remembers. Our body remembers. And so we have to spend time identifying these barriers and these blockages that prevent us from having a loving relationship with ourselves, let alone our children our family members, our mates. And we really have to be deliberate and intentional about learning to redefine love, redefine relationships, breaking those generational cycles, understanding that ancestral trauma, dealing in the spiritual realm, and looking at that lineage, looking at my grandmother's relationship with my grandfather, and being that she was 14 and he was 22, and her first experience with intimacy was rape, was molestation, and how that carried over in her womb, and how my father saw his mother being beat on a regular basis, and then wondering why my father was abusive. And then wondering why I continue to pick men like my father. Like, you have to make the connections there. And not beating yourself up about it, but just having an understanding of how you've been moving through hurt, how you've been hiding from pain, how you've been living with skewed belief systems that don't work for you. And in the conscious mind, like, like, this is like, this is not working. I don't understand why this is not working. But not realizing in the subconscious mind, there's so many buried thoughts and memories and blockages that you haven't connected to. And that's why you continue to repeat these cycles. Just the influence that these things have had over your life. And so that you can start breaking those barriers down. You can start understanding how they trigger you, knowing that every relationship that you get into and every person that you meet is in preparation for you to learn how to love yourself unconditionally, for you to learn how to be gentle and kind to yourself, for you to learn the things within you that maybe you're not aware of that still need some work, that you may need some guidance, you may need some mentorship, recognizing how much of it is not yours, because we do tend to pick up our parents' issues and we make them our own, or other people's issues and we make them our own, especially if you have not dealt with your inner child. Your inner child, your wounded child self will recognize the wounded child in someone else, especially men, and you will be catering to the little boy in him, not realizing that the man in him can't take care of you, can't provide for you, can't protect you, can't love you, but you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically connecting to the wounded child in him. That's why you see the potential in him. That's why you stay in abusive relationships, because your child self and they are having a relationship. They are connecting. And you feel the need to take care of, nurture, and fix it for him, especially when you couldn't fix it for yourself. Like, this shit gets deep. And how willing are you to uncover all of these masks? How willing are you to sit through the pain? How willing are you to feel exposed and ashamed? How willing are you to get honest about the shit that happened in your family? Without feeling afraid that, someone is not going to love you or going to be upset with you, no longer waiting on permission to tell your truth, and even really understanding your truth. What is your truth? Do you know? And knowing that it goes deeper than your current day. Like, it's not even about the shit that you use to medicate your pain. Once you strip that away, you realize, oh shit, I got some more work to do. I got some more things to uncover and to discover, so I can rediscover who am I? Who am I? And stop assigning God's job to people. God already gave you life. God already gave you love. You don't need it from anybody else. You already have it. I love y'all to life. I might check in tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so I'll see y'all tomorrow. Be well, be happy, be love, and be light.